Hello all, Alison here. Welcome back to Words and Pictures for a few minutes of fun. I'm filming this on my birthday, the 24th of April. So I thought, what is the thing that I really most want to do today? And it turned out to be go in the garden and pick a lot of weeds and dead things to have a little play on the gel plate. So by the time you see this, it will actually be my brother's birthday. I'm the 24th, he's the 26th. So there's a lot of birthdaying goes on around now, and yeah, I just wanted some playtime, and that's what I'm going to have. So yeah, all of these are either weeds or dead things from the garden. I've got various kinds of paints, mostly PaperArtsy Fresco finish chalk acrylics, but I've also grabbed a couple of distress paints are around. I've got some distress sprays, particularly thinking oxides in case that mood sort of takes me. I've even got a few golden fluid acrylics that may or may not come into play. I've got some stencils. These are by Finnabair for Prima, and again, they may or may not happen because at the moment what's really catching my eye is all of this. So yeah, weeds, dead things, and a couple of strawberry leaves, but really strawberries, wild strawberries grow in the garden pretty much like weeds. So it's and I'm just wondering whether to start with a layer of paint or a layer of plants. I think I might start with a layer of paint. I can't even make the simplest sort of decision today. Let's get some paint onto the mat and see where we're at. That one, maybe a little bit of this one. So I'm thinking spring greens, but I've also got some turquoises and some purples around just for fun. In fact, we might put a little bit of Inky Pool, one of my favourite darks. I'm going to try not to get caught in my literal sense of sky and ground for this go. I'm going to try and be loose and random and let things happen where they happen. So spreading a thin layer of paint, as one does. In fact, that's quite a lot of paint. So, but that's good because it'll pick up onto the whatever I lay down on top of it. So I'm quite interested in these grassy stems, which have got some nice little seedy bits on them. Quite interested in those. There's another sort of stem that is, I've got no idea what that is. It's growing somewhere I didn't plant it. And let's maybe have a couple of these. It's something to do with robin, red robin or something is it called? It grows through all the cracks in the pavement, and even though I've picked all these leaves, there's still oodles of it left out there. Growing away. It's very pretty. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's not really a weed because I'm perfectly happy to have it there, which supposedly the definition of a weed is something growing where you don't want it, and really I don't mind. Let's go with that as a first little composition. That's leaving me a little bit of room if I wanted to, for instance, later add a butterfly or some stenciling, and I'm just going to pick up what will be a silhouette. So this is now quite an old gel plate I'm using here. It was something I got quite early on in my crafting journey, and for years didn't dare pick up and play with because I thought, oh, there's methods and things I need to know about. And then I discovered that the best thing to do with a gel plate was just get it out and play and see what happened. So those, come on. Oh, so this is this copy paper again, isn't it? So a really simple little silhouette print going on there. This will have left some lovely prints on the page. Plus, there is now, of course, paint on all of these beauties. So one of the things that I have also got hanging around, because what I might want to do is let that dry and pick it up with a layer. So I'm going to... I could print straight over and get those prints onto here. Oh, so many choices. I'm going to pick that straight up, just as a starter, because one can always come back and do similar things again. I'm going to pick that up, hopefully while there's still time, because I want to see those plant silhouettes. That's what I want. First up. And if I'm not in time to pick them up, then I can put a layer of paint on and pick them up later. I'm very happy to leave something behind on the plate, because the more mess you get on the plate, the more interesting things become. So yeah, I hope you can see those lovely silhouettes on there. So the thing I'd quite like to do now is I've got the little round plate here, and I'm just wondering what would happen if I were to, I don't need to do that, do I? I can put that there. So this leaf is now all painty on here. Before that dries, I want to put it down on here. I'm going to use up this paint onto there. And put down, what, a strawberry leaf? Strawberry leaf pressed into there. Maybe another strawberry leaf pressed into there somewhere else. And maybe a couple more of these stems. In fact, let's put these stems back on, because that'll make a difference, won't it, if we've got paint on them. Let's do that and that. Maybe that one's rather pretty. And let's come in like so. Mostly that was because I wanted to clean the brayer, because I want to put a different colour of paint over the top of here. No idea how this is going to work. I've not done things in this particular order before, but I'm playing. So what I want to do now is brayer over this, which is also going to give me a lovely coat of paint onto this leaf, but onto the back of this leaf. Oh, see, so that didn't work. Did you see what happened there? Poor leaf. Yeah, okay. Well, but let's see what we've got on there. You never know. I think I can pick that up probably just on the top of here. Maybe a little leaf print that I pressed down onto here to start with. You never know. Oh yes, you see, quite nice, quite nice. So pressing down around the flowers on this one, also to get them nicely into the paint, and pick it up. Up you come. Interestingly, I'm not a great fan of this green that I've got going on. Somehow the greens I've mixed up there, although they're all greens I like, are not greens I really enjoy as greens now that they've mixed. No, they've turned into the sort of bluey green that is not my favourite sort of green. So this I am going to leave to dry and pick it up with another colour later on. That's beautiful. I love that. What I want to do right now is do a little print of that. So let's put this out of the way to dry. And let's get some of this lovely seagrass that we've got going on here. I think it was Seaglass, onto here. Nice thin layer. I'm going to put you down there, and I'm going to put you down there. There's not much in the way of this sort of grass in the garden at the moment. It's all that will all come later in the summer, but I did find a couple of bits growing really where it's not wanted in pots. So that I'm just going to do a little pick up. But again, it's mostly about getting the painty side of the grass that I'm interested in. Oh, but that's adorable, isn't it? So let's pick that up. And again, I'm going to let that dry on there. Don't know if you can, yeah. So we'll be able to pick that up with a different colour paint once that's dry, but you need to let it dry fully. Let's see. PaperArtsy chalk acrylics are in some ways very good for this, and in some ways not very good at all. So PaperArtsy chalk acrylics dry very quickly, which is a lovely thing in terms of waiting to be able to do the next print, but it's a less lovely thing in terms of it drying very quickly on them matte. So I'm going to, while this is here, I'm going to put a couple of just stamped images of grass onto there. Did you? Yeah, I think you could see that happen on camera. So I've put a drip of water into the paint that is on the surface here, and I'm using that as a kind of stamp to create extra grassy texture down here. Again, I'm playing. I have no idea whether this is going to pan out in the long run, but at the moment I quite like it. As a layer, that's going to dry on the underneath, so I probably want to come through to some of these places where there are gaps so that you'll be able to see that grassiness later. That's going to be a lovely abstract kind of a print. So we're now moving on to gel plate number 3. Fortunately, one of my sets of gel plates is the Ranger set, so that comes with a set of 3. The little round one comes in here, there's a big tall one like that, and there's a kind of tag sized one. So I shall move on to our tag sized one while we wait for a couple more things to dry. So let's peel off the protective plates. And again, quite old, not in great nick, but it's a used tool, and that's what I think our craft tools should be, if they're all pristine. And this is my favourite thing, of course, is a print like this with that lovely scrubby background. So I'm going to pick that up and then reprint with something over the top. So that's going to be my background with all that lovely texture as the paint runs away from the surface of the gel plate, and you get that gorgeous thing going on. Then let's put down something like, oh, I don't know, let's go with some turquoises. Let's put down a bit of aquamarine. I might put it here and then go over onto there. And I'm going to use a little bit of Antarctic. That was lovely the other day in whatever I was making. Oh, the eggy tag for tag time this week. Let's see what these get us. Should be quite a nice, soft, bluish tone. Pretty. Right, and what do we want to put in here? A bit more of this robin. Red robin, robin red, whatever. I don't know where I've got my idea that it's called robin anything, actually, to be honest. I just sort of have that feeling. I may at some point have looked it up, of course. So here's a risk. So these are some sort of dried flower heads off. It's either chamomile or, no, it can't be chamomile because that's little white flowers, isn't it? It's either thyme or marjoram is what I mean to say. And it's possible that this is going to press down into my gel plate and leave little either marks or just flowery bits. But I'm prepared to risk this particular gel plate for now. Prepared to risk that. Keep that background to put something onto in a minute. In my usual gel plate way, I've now got so many bits of paper lying around, I'm not going to be able to re-find the ones I want when I want to print them. So let's put that down. And again, with all this plant matter, it is a question of pressing down into it. I'm going to do almost this same layout, I think, in a minute with some darker colours, because I think I really want to be able to see what's happening. Let's see what we get. Don't know till you try. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful, just those plant shapes. And there's the one that did already have some paint on. So that's left behind a trace of itself. So what one could do with this is go straight back in with that same piece of paper and get some more prints back onto here. Except it won't be a contrasting colour. It is beautiful though. No, I'm going to pick that up on a separate one. Or we could let that, oh, let's let that dry, because that'd be a lovely one to pick up. Let's let that dry. Are you dry yet? You must be dry. This one must be dry. Our little round one must be dry. So that's got those little tiny flowers on. get our round piece of paper. So now it's a question of putting on a really thin layer of paint. Let's check. Yes, that's dry. Really thin layer of background paint, and I think I might go for a sort of sky colour. Maybe you. Maybe a bit of Paua shell into what's already going on the mat here, which was Antarctic and another. And I just want to put a really thin layer of that, thinnest possible layer. And now need a waste piece of paper to rub this off on. Let's go here. Now with luck, I should be able to pick that up, and that layer will pick up the dried paint from underneath as well. It's always a bit of a wing and a prayer with this, because moisture levels in the air can mess with stuff. The thickness of the layer of paint you've put on can mess with stuff. But when it works out, you get to lift away. Oh, they were in too subtle a colour. Should have done them in a darker colour to start with. They are there because it's that green. They are there. Okay, lesson learned. Let's do them in a dark colour then. Come back, you guys. Let's have you in Inky Pool. Can't get much darker than Inky Pool without going towards the blacks and the brown. Oh, great. Loads of Inky Pool. Let's just get a bit of Inky Pool onto here. It's such a pretty colour. And it's, where have they gone, my two grasses? There they are. Going to have to preserve those with my life because there are only two like that. There's one similar one, but not quite the same. So let's pick those up. Again, making sure we press down nice and firmly, both to get paint on those grasses, but really to get in and get the finest detail imprint that we can behind. Let's pick up. That's nice. Let's take those off. Oh, looking forward to picking that up. So that I'm going to let dry, and I'll pick up with a contrasting colour later on. These I want to get onto something. Oh look, maybe onto here somehow. So where that's drying, isn't it? Is it going to be possible to just print them? Depends whether the paint is already dried, doesn't it? Maybe it's possible to just do this. Let's press down and get something. If not, what I could do is run the brayer over them. In fact, let's do that anyway. Oh, delicate little Inky Pool things. So let's lie them down here and gently, only in one direction, because you know what happened the last time I did this to a plant. It all rolled up, so I'm going to hold it and press some Inky Pool, brayer some Inky Pool onto those grasses, holding the bottom of the stem. And then I'm going to take them back over here. That way up. And again, just a piece of paper. So it's now just not just gel printing we're doing, it's plain old printing, using the natural elements as stamps. So let's pick that up and see what we've got. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's so beautiful. I want another of those. So last little bit of Inky Pool that is on the mat. Another of those, lots of paint onto it. I'm going to put that down there. See that? Oh no, it's printed on this side as well, look. So there must have been paint on both sides of that. Of course there was, because I'd already rollered it and brayered it and printed it in another direction. So I'm getting 2 for the price of 1 there. Excellent work. Yeah, enjoying those. Good. We'll trim around them later to get something nice going on. Let's see what we've got over here. So I think we might be about ready to pick you up. Let's give you a little bit longer, but you must be ready to pick it up by now. So let's pop you down like so, and I might use something like the Inky pool to do the pickup. So I don't want too much paint for this, because you really want a thin layer when you're picking up here. So let's get that just nicely randomly mixing on there, very lightly over what we've got on the gel plate. And let's see what we can pick up. So again, I'm working that down into the plate, buffers and all kinds of things that you can use for this. People use a heavy jam jar. I just really like feeling the plate through the paper. So I've never really got into using a tool. I guess I should experiment with it one of these days. Let's lift that up and see whether we've managed to pick up what was underneath. So again, in terms of contrast, but you know me, I like harmonious things at the same end of the colour tones. I like the subtlety of that meadow print going on there. Right, what shall we have? Let's have an Inky pool print that is a gel plate cleaning one with lots of water, so that we get lots of nice texture going on. Might do a little bit of stencil fun through this. Let's just haven't had a stencil out yet today, have we? So let's rip an stencil and just pop it down on here. It'll pick up with the back of that. Nice. That's going to give us a lovely print on there to just play with. We've got one that's not very interesting. Yes, look, so this one, vaguely interesting. It's got some leaf shapes, but if I now pop it back down over here, I'm going to try to line up. It's not going to quite work because I've since peeled the gel plate up and put it back down again. But again, if I trim these later, this is about picking up bits of paper that will just look nice on journal pages or torn up for collaging. Just a little bit of playfulness. This is all very messy down here now. I'm just wondering if I can get some more kind of leaf prints using it. If I hold this down this time instead of letting it all. And let's pop that on there. Can I spread it out? Just about. Have another one, slightly smaller. There you are. Let's have you back. So again, picking up some paint from here, pop it down onto here. Let's have one of these tall grasses back. Get a little bit of paint on both sides. Spread it out. Might as well, since they're here. Let's put you in there, as though you're part of that one. And let's have you down here. And maybe these. I do want to experiment with these. Let's see if we can get... I want the stem as well. Now I'm blue. Excellent. I want the stem of that one as well. Let's see. Let's see. We get what we get, right? And enjoy it. Thank you. Going to put this down. And again, what I'm trying to do now is get the paint from the leaves and stems onto the gel plate, as well as picking up any of the paint that's on this side of the stems onto my paper. We come. So that's already got some quite nice dynamism going on in it. To peel those off quite carefully. Sooner or later, something's just going to stay put. I'm going to have to scrape it off my gel plate. And you. Okay, so that I'm going to let dry. So you can go away again. You stay. Down we go. And let's see if we can pick up this inky pool here. So I think I'm going to go in with something very, very pale. I really need to wipe up this paint here now, I think, which I could do with a mop up. Seems a bit of a waste not to. What shall we mop it up onto? I've got some book pages here. Always have some book pages around when you're gel printing, because you never know when you're going to have paint to mop up. There we go. Again, just nice for tearing up, for collaging. Little element on a tag. Appears to be a Tale of Two Cities. I don't remember ripping up a Tale of Two Cities, but never mind. Such is life. Good. That's making pretty good use of that paint, right? Good, good, good. Let's spike that up so that I can go with something paler now. So this is just my usual silicone plastic mat here. Any craft mat will do. This one happens to be by Wow Embossing. But at the moment they're not producing it. I did bump into them at the Frankfurt Trade Fair and I did say to them, I love your amazing white mat, and so does everybody who watches my videos. Always asking about it. So maybe one of these days they'll start reproducing it. Fingers crossed, eh? So I'm going to go in with a little bit of just off-white and a little bit of white. Let's wipe this as well, because that's Inky Pool, if I remember rightly, those two stems there. Where's my round collection? Too many bits of paper. Where's the round ones gone? I've put them somewhere safe, haven't I? There we are. I see them. There we go. Okay, let's have you. So again, a really thin layer of this we want just over this Inky Pool print here. And let's see what we can pick up onto this piece. Oh, there we go. Nice little bubble of grass print. Very good. So I've now got book pages drying everywhere as well. Where are we going to put you? There we are. Been away to put some drying things down. Where was I? Okay, so we've just picked up a thing with you. Let's see what we can pick up off here. So this was done in very pale, you can see those stems there. What colour shall I use as a backing for that? Ho, 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 ho. Maybe something as bold as, ooh, Teresa green? Or maybe Bora and Paua shell, turquoisey colours. Let's see what that gets us. Slightly darker colour in there. I think it wants to be darker. I'm going to pop a bit of Inky Pool in. Always gets you your darks. Grand. That's quite a thick layer, so I need to lose some. So I'm now picking paint up off that gel plate. I really want just a slightly translucent layer on there. Let's see what we get. Up you come. With luck and a following wind. Let's see. Yes. Nice. Okay, so again, just those leafy shapes just emerging out of that background. A little bit of white spatter on that and we'll be good to go. Okay, let's put some of this on here a little bit waterier, more waterily, waterilier. I don't know. And I really want to play with a bunch of these now. So I'm gonna get you on. And you on, and you on, and you on. Maybe that little scraggy one. That little scraggy one's quite cute. Stay put. So this, as always, is just fairly cheap copy paper, printer paper, because I want to be able to take lots and lots of prints. If I were to see something shaping up on the gel plate that I really thought was going to be a gorgeous print, I have got some slightly nicer paper also waiting around, but this is really just playtime, so it's not. That's a beauty. That's a beauty. Good. So I'm going to set that aside to dry, because I hope you can see that on there I've got really rather nice printy stuff going on. I might use some tweezers. I told you this was going to happen. Use some tweezers to just remove some of those flecks of plant material. Not all of them, because they'll add to the texture. But you can see I can just get that away. But I hope you can see those nice stems just shaping up under there. I'm going to do some more of that for sure. Right away, in fact. After I've picked up this one. So we've got another one drying on the plate here. And I think I'm going to go again for a... Wow, I really want to put these down while they're a bit painty, just to see if we can get something. So let's just, you stay aside for 1 second. I'm going to put that down there. Well, let's do this game again, because that worked rather well, didn't it? A little bit of a spritz of paint, water onto the paint, and I'm going to get both sides of this painty. Like so. I'm going to get both sides of this painty. So there's some on the brayer and there's some on the mat behind, and they're both getting a bit of paint going on. There's my circle part. There we are. So let's see what that first one gets us. I've overlapped circles again. I keep thinking I'll go well clear this time, and then I never do. not much going on there, but let's see what we get if we let that dry and then pick it up later. Yeah, not really worth it, but maybe one could get some more by printing like we did the other way, directly like so. We're now coming down off the sheet. It's now no longer a circle, but I could always put a bit of translucent colour on it afterwards. So I'm just going to use some paper as a printing tool, just to get what we can get off those stems. It'll be a miracle if all of this stays on camera. Nah, so again, not quite, but we'll keep playing, we'll keep experimenting, we'll see what we get to. So this is now done with. Let's pick it up, get rid of. I'm just going to pull a few more, because once you get going, it's kind of hard to stop. I always want to, oh, what if just one more, maybe this is what I want to do. So I think I'm going to go again with a light white bright pickup. Let's have a bit of Cloud 9 onto this, and maybe just a hint of green, hint of Teresa green. Quite a nice acidy green, isn't it? Let's see. Let's just let those mix on the brayer. And this will be a thin layer, so this hopefully will work to pick it up. See, this is the best. If you can sort of see what's beneath your layer of paint, that's when you're onto a winner. So hopefully this time, quick. Can't afford to let that top layer dry, otherwise it will be scuppered. And let's see what we get with this one. So you can see there are little bits of plant matter here, but I can clean it all off later. If they leave little scars and pock marks in the gel plate, I'm fine with that. You may not be, so be warned. But for me, those little scars and pock marks are just going to be extra texture in the long run. That's rather nice, with those sheaves and blades and nice things going on. So while I've got that pale white, I might see if I can pick up this as well. Let's go a little bit whiter and brighter. Let's get a bit of Snowflake into the mix. That's just a little bit of paint dried from around the lid. Let's get you on here. Might be too much the same colour as the thing that's underneath, but that's the thing with playtime. Let's get one more onto this sheet, and this time I really will go clear of the other circles. Let's see what we can pick up. So again, really delicate and subtle, but nature is delicate and subtle. That's a nice one. Very good. What should we do for the last few? Kind of inclined to come back to some... I did enjoy that Teresa green actually with the white. So let's pop it here. Let's do a little bit of... Actually, that's not very well shaken up. Let's do a little bit of this green. You? No, that's... I need to stick a hole in that, so you'll do instead. Verdigris. Oh, I say, look at those. Again, I have a feeling that's just the translucent bit off the top of the paint. I mean, that's just a really pretty print just by itself. I just want that exactly as I've got it as a background. Let's have you. Ooh. Yeah, scrumptious. Let's have another. And let's gather these again, stems, because I'm enjoying those quite a lot. They've now got blue paint on them, but my guess is it's mostly dry. Let's put those down. I'm trying to be fairly fast because that was a very thin layer of paint, so it's not going to stay put for long. On the edge, and that nice scraggly one coming up the middle. Okay, grand. Let's grab that. So right down into the detail of those stems again, so that I can get them as an imprint on the gel plate, as well as a lovely subtle silhouette on that print. Nice, good. So that I'm going to let dry, come back and pick it up later. What else have we got going on down here? Oh, one on here. Let's go, well, we might as well use, while we've got them, these very nice light brights. What was it? It was Verdigris, Teresa green and Snowflake. I was quite enjoying just then. Yeah, like so. And a bit of Snowflake into the mix. Right, let's see what we can pick up off here then. So again, I can see those stems underneath, which is generally a good sign that I've got my paint at the right thickness on the top. I'm going to have some little flecks of other prints going on underneath. Let's pick that up. Ho, ho, ho. Now you're talking. So that, I think, was Inky Pool, wasn't it, originally, with those stems. Let's put them back down. That's nice. Yeah, okay, so we'll go with maybe, let's go Inky Pool onto here again. And I've got the other paint here also, so it's going to be quite a random kind of a game on the mat this time, but that's all to the good. Nice colours. Let's pop you on, and you, and you. And you, maybe you down here. Again, so I'm leaving room maybe for a word or something to go up there. Get these up, and I think I'm going to leave those to pick up again later, because I'm quite enjoying that as a game. And we've now got you. I really wanted to do you with something very subtle. I wanted to do white, but I've got Inky Pool here now, so I'm going to do Inky Pool. It's here, so it's what I'm going to use. And throw the print. Grand. We might have to call a halt quite soon, because otherwise I'll be here all day. And you'll have a few more minutes of fun. Okay, so that's another one that Hasn't really gone very far, but it's still a lovely background. Still a lovely background. Let's do a little bit of cleaning of the gel plate, cleaning of the paint. Quite enjoying all those little flecks of stuff as well. This is beautiful down here, isn't it? I wonder if we can pick that up as a print. Let's put it as a layer on here if we can. Maybe a little spritz of water just to loosen it. Let's just pick it up as a... There we go. Oh, it's like Turner. No, not Turner. Monet. Well, it's a cross between Turner and Monet. Have we still got a book page hanging around? I did have. Oh, I know. I've got little bits of my tissue paper. So let's just pick that up onto the back of there. And then I'll be ready to make another book with little fragments of tinted tissue in there. Maybe pick up that with that. Then I'll pop these over the other side of the room to dry again. And maybe be back for one final pull of this lovely texture here. There. And I'll just spat on a little bit of, just because we're here, I got them out, might as well put in a little bit of Twisted Citron Distress Oxide, just a little flick, 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 like so. And maybe, don't need to shake that one, it's a distress ink. A little bit of Uncharted Mariner, that is. Just because I'm making spatty backgrounds now. Let's pick it up. Oof, look at that, go straight through that paper. Yeah, again, just fun. Just fun to play with. I sort of want one final... Oh, I have got one more to pick up off there, haven't I? But I'm gonna go one more greeny thing. Yeah. Yeah. So let's have you two. Ooh, that's a lovely green. Lovely green combination there. And let's go, what have we not used? Oh, we haven't used any of this. So this really is a weed. Chickweed just grows and grows and grows. Quite inclined to just pop some in every which direction. See what happens. Like so. It's not the most beautiful of plants. I mean, it's quite nice while it's growing. Little white sort of flowery bits on. Let's see if we can get a nice stemmy kind of wildness to this. Crisscrossing. Little flower top there. Little flower top there. Perfect. And this again I'll pick up, I'll let dry and pick up, and that'll be our final two pulls of the day. Oh, I thought, no, I wanted one more stemmy one. Oh, that's great, great. Love it. Let's peel all you away. Put you down here to dry. Let's go with our little round, one more little round one. I'm going to put that green on, because I am enjoying that green. Then I'm going to go with these grassy, tall grassy stems. Cross there. Cross there. Maybe we could get one more out of this. You come play nicely. And where's your pal? There. Oh! Okay, well you probably are better underneath, to be fair. Let's see. Let's see. So I think I filled up the other round piece, didn't I? So let's print that. Yes, already lovely. And I've managed to pick up all the stuff from the mat over there. So let's take you off. We'll let you dry so we can come and pick you up later. Who's ready for picking up? You must be ready for picking up. Shall we go? We'll go nice and pale again, I think, because I was enjoying that. So maybe just those hints of blue and green, but mostly Cloud 9 this is. And I'll let it have the green that is there. Let's go with a nice thin layer of that. Hopefully that was dry underneath. Yeah, again, I can see that, so that's a good sign. Let's see what we can pick up. Yeah, dreamy stems, dreamy stems. Let's see what we can pick up on here. Are you dry? Please be dry. Quite a lot of plant material on there. Do I want to try and remove it before I pull a print? I think a few little bits is okay. I don't really want all of it. I'll be planting chickweed in my craft room at this rate. Good, let's have this white. Is it going to be wet enough to pick up? Well, it's a risk. It's a risk, and now I've let go of the brayer. It's come out for cleaning. Eesh. Let's see what we get. You never know till you try. Golly, this is going to be a lot of trimming. I have to get the shears out, ready for the close-ups. There we go. What have we got for me? Beautiful chickweed. Beautiful. See, that's what you want with chickweed. That's how you want to do it. Let's see if we can do one final pickup from the little round one. And I think I'm going to go full white for this. Let's go Snowflake. Oh, that's a lot of Snowflake. I don't want all that. Just want a thin layer. So, put it next to its partner. So there we go. I'm going to do lots and lots of trimming, and I'll be back to show you the results of all that printy mess. Look at the fingers, always the sign of a good time. And in a close-up with a little bit of music, so you'll be able to see. Holy look. They always save the best till last. You'll be able to see those in close-up, all nice and dry, as well as the scraps and mop-ups and leftovers that we had. I'm going to mop this up, obviously. Thank you so much for your company today. I hope you've enjoyed that. If so, do leave me a thumbs up. I'll try to leave as many details in the description, as always, of what I've been using today, the colours, the paints. That just gets better and better. So you can see, if you've got a waterproof craft mat, you can even manage without a gel plate in some ways. Just picking up and creating texture with that white paint there. Nice. You see, I could just keep going, but I shan't. I'm going to leave you in peace. Thank you so much for your company on this creative journey. It's always lovely interacting with you, so do leave comments or questions down below, and happy crafting all.